I, like many others, grew up with the Clone Wars. I mean, it was my first introduction to Star Wars, and that's what I watched the most as a kid. Of course, all of us are nostalgic for the original Clone Wars wave, including great sets like the ATTE and the Republic gunship. But what if I were to tell you that these actually weren't the first ever LEGO Star Wars Clone Wars sets? See, the main Clone Wars wave actually released in July of 2008. However, back in January of the same year, LEGO released these two sets, the Hailfire Droid and Anakins Jedi Starfighter. Now, one could debate that the Hailfire Droid is technically not a Clone Wars set, since the background in the box actually has the Episode 2 background. On top of that, the Hailfire Droid was advertised actually with an Episode 3 set. However, the reason I tend to include this with the original Clone Wars idea is because in the later half of 2008, LEGO changed the box art to these sets to have the newer Clone Wars box. But even speaking of the Hailfire Droid, how does the set actually hold up? Well, for being a smaller set, it includes a really good figure lineup. We get a Commander Battle Droid, 2 normal Battle Droids, and a Super Battle Droid. I love that you get 4 droids in the set, and it makes it an incredible army builder for kids. Also included is a Dwarf Spider Droid, which looks awesome. This was also my favorite part of the set as a kid. Moving to the Hailfire Droid, and I think it looks pretty good. The build has the ability to tighten up like this, or you can make it angled like it's traditionally seen. Of course, in 2008, we get tons of flick-fire missiles on this set. The main feature of the build, though, is that it actually rolls on these treads. This is a ton of fun. I mean, this thing just goes zooming. The only annoying thing is these treads do have a habit of falling off, and that can be really annoying. Nevertheless though, I think this feature works really well, and it makes for a really fun small droid set. It's definitely way smaller than the Indianverse thing, but I still like it. Now onto the set that's truly, without a doubt, the first ever Clone Wars set. And I mean, it literally says it on the box. Anakin's Jedi Starfighter. Now, full disclosure, this is a set I have a ton of nostalgia for. In fact, this is the set that I first ever made a video on back in September of 2009 when I was just 7 years old. This set is also included in getting the new box art when the other Clone Wars sets came out. Weirdly enough, this set also was in the advertisement with the Hailfire Droid and AT-AP, which obviously had Episode 3 clones in it, so that's kind of confusing why LEGO did that. However, this is most definitely a Clone Wars set, considering that this set introduced the much hated Clone Wars face prints. Now, me personally, I don't mind these faces like at all, but that's simply because I grew up with these figures. Objectively, these are awful. However, I still really enjoy this figure and have an incredible amount of nostalgia for it. Also included is this OG R2-D2, who also doesn't look great, but again, very nostalgic. I mean, it's kind of the theme of this entire channel. Moving on to the set, and truth be told, it's really just an ordinary Starfighter. We've gotten tons of them, and this one honestly is not that special. I really do like the yellow color scheme on the ship, and the stickers on the front do look pretty nice. Of course, the cockpit can open up and you can sit Anakin inside, however, there is nowhere for his lightsaber to go, so you kinda just have to throw it in there. On the bottom of the ship, we have the landing gear, which can be folded up, and like always from this era of LEGO, flick-fire missiles. However, this time they're in blue, which I think is kind of unique and looks, you know, pretty neat. The main feature of this set is actually pretty goofy and pretty weird. This tab in the back can be pressed in, and the idea is that you can launch R2-D2. The fun part of this is that this is actually a direct reference from one of the first ever arcs of the Clone Wars where R2-D2 was lost in the middle of a battle. I love that this feature has an entire episode that kind of corresponds to it. Overall, I am a fan of this set, however that is almost all nostalgia talking. Not that this is a bad set, but truth be told, there's really nothing crazy about it. I think it's pretty crazy how LEGO decided to release the first ever Clone Wars sets by themselves in the beginning of 2008. Just for reference, the movie wouldn't release till August of the same year, and the show wouldn't come out all the way until October. And the episode that Anakin Starfighter is referencing didn't release till November. When this set released, you had to wait 11 months to find out why a LEGO Star Wars play feature was the way it was. That's crazy to me. No matter what though, I don't think either of these sets are bad at all. Just a very strange start to an incredible line of sets.